Hey everyone, welcome to this explainer. I'm absolutely thrilled you're here today because we're doing something, well, a little bit different, but honestly incredibly fascinating. We're going to break down the brilliant and evocative framing of a highly specific animated short film. And here's the kicker. We're going to do this using only its establishing text to uncover its cinematic promises. It's actually amazing how much heavy lifting a few carefully chosen words can do to prepare our brains for a story. So let's get right into the source material and see exactly how it sets the stage. All right, let's start with the exact, evocative text from the source's transcript that instantly sets a mysterious stage. Just two words, a city and a year. Cairo, 1920. Before you even see a single animated character, your mind is already painting a picture, isn't it? You're probably picturing dusty sepia tones, early archaeological digs, the blazing desert sun, and this whole era of great exploration. This is the power of a highly focused textual cue. It immediately calibrates our expectations as viewers. Section 1. The YouTube short film, Unpacking the Source and Medium. So before we look at the narrative, we really have to understand the modern digital wrapper this story is delivered in. These three pieces of metadata immediately tell us exactly what format and mood to expect. First off, we have the channel name itself, Les Pyramides de Egypte. That translates directly to the Pyramids of Egypt, giving us a super focused, dedicated source. Next up, we see the medium is an animated short film. This tells us we aren't getting a dry, live-action historical documentary, right? We're getting something stylized, crafted, and visually inventive. Finally, the intended tone is explicitly stated as funny, and that is a massive clue. It instantly primes our brain to start looking for the punchline. Moving on to Section 2. A monumental subject, the core focus. Think about that phrase for a second, the Egyptian pyramids. It brilliantly illustrates the immense, ancient, and globally recognized scale of the subject the creator has chosen to tackle. I mean, just saying the phrase out loud carries weight. We're talking about literally one of the most enduring, colossal architectural achievements in the entire history of human civilization. By putting this text right at the forefront of the transcript, the creator is anchoring the narrative to a subject that carries inherent gravitas, mystery, and monumental scale. It is a massive stage to play on. Which brings us to Section 3, a comedic tone, flipping expectations. Now, this is where things get really interesting. On one hand, you have the Egyptian pyramids, which obviously suggests this absolute grandeur and serious historical study. But right up against it, the promise of a funny animated short film suggests slapstick and a total break from reality. The creator is intentionally subverting the seriousness of the subject. They're taking something made of millions of tons of unmoving limestone and turning it into a playground for stylized comedic animation. That friction between the subject and the tone is exactly what makes the premise so engaging. Next up, Section 4, Setting the Scene. The power of minimalist text. Let's circle back to those two magical words. Cairo, 1920. Basically acts as an establishing shot, but delivered purely through text. This shows us how these two simple words function as this incredibly powerful cinematic tool to anchor us right before the comedy even starts. In traditional filmmaking, you'd probably need, actually, scratch that. You definitely need a massively expensive wide shot of a bustling 1920s street just to set the scene. Here, the text does the work of $1 million set piece in a fraction of a second. It concisely grounds us in a specific geographical location and a specific historical era. You know exactly where you are, and you know exactly when you are. Section 5, Cairo, in the 1920s. The temporal anchor. Just look at the massive temporal leaps we're taking here. Way back in the past, we have ancient antiquity, the actual construction of the subject thousands of years ago. Then, boom, we jump forward to the year 1920, the setting of our animated story, an era of modern discovery fully colliding with ancient ruins. And finally, we leap forward again to the modern day, our current reality where we're streaming the short film on the YouTube channel Les Pyramides d'Egypte. The creator is effectively playing with three totally distinct eras at once to set up their narrative framework. It's just an incredibly efficient use of context. So what does this all mean? We've basically distilled everything there is to know from the source material down to its absolute essence. We have a digital wrapper telling us to expect comedy, we have this monumental, ancient subject, and we have a specific roaring 20s temporal anchor. Knowing only these perfectly chosen 14 words of context, I want to leave you with this thought. What kind of historical hilarity do you think is waiting for us inside this animated short film? Are we going to see a bumbling archaeologist, maybe a catastrophic misunderstanding of ancient mechanics? The stage is flawlessly set, and the rest is entirely up to the animation.
Thank you so much for joining me in this explainer to unpack the immense power of establishing text. Keep analyzing, keep questioning, and I will see you next time.